and they didn't listen to, and the prosecutor was Janet Reno. I don't know if you know who she was.
I've heard that name.
She was down here, and then she became the U.S. attorney.
Wow.
When they came after me, and when we ended up losing, the judge that I had was a judge named Kimball Woods. And Kimball Woods' third husband was a gentleman named Frank Richardson, and he lost about $3 million in Stratton Oakmont, the Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. We hired somebody as a sales trainer from Stratton Oakmont. That's what brought this whole thing, my whole business down, my whole empire.
Some tedious link.
And a young man who was a disbarred lawyer had gotten indicted, and he was on Long Island because that's where we had our fundraising office. Mm-hmm. And because we used to raise our own money, he comes into my office. We had just bought a large portfolio of 6,000 units, 16 different assets, and my team couldn't really explain it, okay? And we weren't raising money for it. Mm-hmm. And he sees this guy who was notorious. I think he was the number 4 guy at Stratton Oakmont. Yeah. Calls his FBI handler. Still remember it today. Her name was Jennifer May. Very hot. Smoking hot. And tells her that this can't be real because this guy came from Stratton Oakmont. Fast forward to the people that helped me. We get an affidavit that says that the judge's third husband lost this money. Mm-hmm. She should be recused. They don't recuse her. We get a second affidavit from the FBI analyst that disappeared 2 weeks before my trial because we found her in Scottsdale, Arizona, she refused to testify.
Wow. Because
she said, there's no malfeasance here.
Yeah.
So they had already started to dismantle the company. They had already started to sell the assets. Yeah. And they had already started to repatriate the money.
And you get no compensation from the government for any of this?
We have actually talked about it. The gentleman that helped me, yeah. Howard, and he is like, Mark, if we go after them, they're going to put another target on you.
Yeah, it's going to get worse.
And then the other thing is, I already have a target on me. Because I got out of prison, yeah. I went back to the real estate business. I started making money, yeah. Okay? And people don't like that.
How do they justify 85 years for, I'm guessing it was some kind of fraud, but how do you justify a life sentence for that? Like, surely, if you're going to let people out for murder after 6 or 7 years, mm-hmm. to try and justify taking away someone's entire life, mm-hmm. and I'm guessing it's some kind of fraud or for whatever it is. It's just insane to me.
Securities fraud.
Yeah, it's insane to me. How do they even justify that?
There's no justification for it because a lot of these guys. Well, there's 2 ways to during the sentencing process, the government sentencing process, you can run a sentence concurrent or consecutive. Mm-hmm. Concurrent means they would all run at the same time, mm-hmm. and consecutive means that they run one at a time.
Got it.
So because there were 5 counts, one was 5 years, and then the other 4 were 20 years, they call it stacking.
One after another.
Right. And then one of the things that we're working on is a new law. It's called the trial penalty. And one of the more sophisticated lawyers here who actually helped me, Alan Dershowitz, they've got a bill in front, and they've got a lot of support. And it states that if you are offered a plea deal, you can only get 150% of that time in prison. So I was offered a deal after 41 months locked up of 60 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not pleading guilty.
Yeah.
And I'm not ratting out on anybody. I'm not guilty.
100%.
I own these buildings.
Yep.
Okay? I ran this business. We had 1,200 employees.
Wow.
So, and they don't want to hear that.
It's completely crazy.
And those guys, the U.S. attorneys that prosecute you, their ultimate goal is they get out, they work. They're all, Columbia, Harvard yep. graduates, Yale. They're all very smart guys, handsome, okay? And they make a name for themselves. They do 5 years, and then they do a signing bonus, they make $2-3 million salary at one of the white shoe firms.
So they want
And it's
a big scalp
it's a notch on their belt.
Got
That's
it.
what it is. They notch their gun belt
Yep.
from all their kills,
Yep.
and then they go out and say, "Here's my resume."
Got it.
And they get these big jobs, these big white shoe jobs.
And that's why they go after the people with money. You know, in Europe today, I'm sure America has this problem, but Europe's got a real problem now, where a lot of people with money are just getting hit with random indictments. I have friends in Poland, in Hungary, even in the based Eastern Europe, and the West is even worse in France and Germany and England. If you have any kind of money, you're just getting hit with an indictment. And I have this theory that it's basically win-win for them, especially in Europe, and maybe America's the same. Let's assume American taxes are 30 or 40%. If you can get a prosecutor who makes $100,000 a year and get him to go after someone like you, and you're paying millions in legal fees, the state's winning. Think about it this way. They can get a $100,000 a year prosecutor to jump on a guy who has to spend $5 million in legal and get $2 million income and taxes, even if they lose the case. And then if they win the case, they also get to steal all your stuff. So it's really win-win for the government financially to just go after people.
Oh, 100%.
And it's really crazy. I mean, in Europe, my prosecutor probably makes, in Romania, $30,000 a year. My lawyers pay 30% tax, and I'm millions deep. The state's getting rich no matter what. And even if I beat my case and keep my assets, they still got rich. And if I lose, they steal all my stuff. So it's kind of crazy where, you know, you go through life and you want to be successful and you want to escape the streets so you're not a target for all the criminals, and you get to the top and people still want your head on a stick.
Well, I said it to your brother. They took a civil case, a civil state statute, and they made it criminal, and they indicted a president.
Bro, crazy.
Why? Because one, they're afraid of him.
Yep.
Two, they hate him.
Yep.
And three, he's been very successful.
Yep.
Okay? And there are a lot of people that they do that. I mean, I don't know if they go after Elon, but you know, they've gone after Apple for antitrust. They've tried to do this. I'm sure they will.
Yep.
Okay? There's always a constant undertone of people that are unhappy with the people out in society who are successful.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these, we've become more of a financial environment here in South Florida. I think we're actually now the #1 money center banking city in the world.
Wow.
Here, it surpassed New York,
Yep.
which used to be the financial haven.
Yep.
Okay, now it's here, and a lot of these funds, like Citadel, Broadwater, Goldman Sachs, they're all moving here.
Yep.
Okay, and they're moving here. They're moving all their staff, and they're here because this is a better place to operate. Now, are they going after them? I guarantee you, they're going to notice something. Okay, maybe they're too big to fail.
Yeah.
When you're worth a few $1 billion, you're too big to fail. When you're worth 100 to 200 million, they'll come after you.
Yep.
Okay, and I remember when I made my first huge score, and I bought a jet, and I thought I was 6 feet tall, and my dick was 12 inches long, and I became an asshole, cheated on my wife, fucked up my marriage, but that's stuff I have to live with.
Yep.
And you're not better than anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, you just have more money.
Oh, that's true.
Okay? You just got, and success sometimes is luck.
Yeah. Oh no, there's a huge degree of luck, of course.
Super.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
being in the right place at the right time. Yeah. I do want to ask one thing. You're anti-Semitic or not?
No, I'm not anti-Semitic.
Didn't think so.
No, I'm not. This whole, the internet's become an extremely violent place, especially with this anti-Semitic rhetoric. And I think that I want to walk the line carefully here, because I don't think that anybody should be restricted from having their point of view or questioning certain things, especially in regards to foreign nations that have influence over America. I think that's common for any American to sit and say,